after a week off. Welcome back to Inside the NDL. Had 3 midterms, exams, whatever you want to call them, last week in a paper, so a little busy, as some of you know, asking about it. So I guess we'll call this a super show, a double recap, interview or 2 or 3, depending on how many people I can get, and a few other little things. So getting right into it, let's look at the current top 25. This would be from the last poll voting we did. So you can see there, UConn number 1 and Wisconsin number 2, Texas. Those 3 guys still, well, at least when I started to do the recording, they were undefeated. UConn, as most know by now, or will know as soon as they get to this point. Pitt had a very awesome block, knocking off 2 undefeateds in conference play. So once again, the landscape of the top 5 will change. We'll see how that pans out. But you guys can see as it keeps going down, some head scratchers, some new teams that were unexpected. I mean, there's some teams that I never expected when the season started that would be in there. Like, no offense to Duke. Duke's in there. I think Louisiana Tech's 25. I wasn't expecting them. Virginia, not so much the player, just the situation. ACC's a lot tougher this year. It's just a really weird season so far, and you guys can see better than I can the other top 25. Some people that are right on the cusp of being up there or being back in the picture. So that's a look at the top 25. And we'll just jump right in here. Speaking of changing the landscape, Bama is in the top 5. They fall to Arkansas on the road. Army, one of the Run brothers, picks up a win. The Run brothers might be Navy, but he's running the ball well. Auburn picks up a road win against ranked BYU, 27-21. And you can see there a nice run there. Doesn't get the touchdown, but gets pretty close. And if only I could get screen passes to work that well. Off to the races and gets knocked out around the 30-yard line. And while I'm thinking about it, let me say thanks to all the guys that do highlights in their videos, because it makes these things a lot cooler instead of just posting recaps, highlights, and pictures. Much appreciated. You can see there Central Michigan picking up the win, and then jumping here to Hawaii, who quietly has put together a good season, not getting much attention. They will get some in this video as they picked up quite a few wins, and know that had to be a depressing play defensively. Looks like you're going to get a pick and you missed a pick and they end up getting a touchdown. So Hawaii with the TD pass, and that one I'm going to assume was a switch to try to jump the route, and delayed switch, delayed reaction leads to a touchdown. And one of my favorite, I'm pretty sure I've seen that many times with some of the good user guys. Guy looks like he's wide open, and then someone just undercuts the route just at the snap of a finger. So interception there. And then this is another view of that earlier touchdown pass. You can see that it was very close, just almost there to picking that ball off. And Hawaii picks up a win against Louisiana Tech, a big game in conference play in the WAC. So both putting together good seasons so far. Indiana beats Kent State, so I think they were talking about a 0-0 overtime game. Put up a few points there. And as a Nebraska fan, it's always cool to see Nebraska win regardless of who the coach is. But that is a pretty amazing run there. Breaks a tackle and then shrugs off a tackle and gets inside field goal range. And then the counter play, a nice stick skills by VT, and nice move there, and gets in the end zone. So touchdown Tech, and answer back with a passing TD as Nebraska. And then this play, a fumble, and I believe that this was the deciding play in the game, that this was an overtime. I may be wrong on that, I know it was an overtime win. So Nebraska picks up the win 27-21. So VT and the Hokies are struggling a little bit this season. We have Virginia and Notre Dame. Virginia's undefeated still, picking up the win. Eastern Michigan picks up a win against New Mexico. Good passing attack. And K-Dog's pick of the egg was pretty funny as they get shut out by Kansas State 30-0. Ooh, UConn. That was a nasty game. I forget what the name of their cup, or it's a rival thing between them. I forget what it's called, but yeah, it was a pretty nasty game. 35-point win. Tulane struggling out of conference. Florida, good defense for third and shorts and fourth and shorts as they pick up a win against my Wildcats 21-14 as they start to roll. And then we have Nevada, who, by the way, I don't know if you guys noticed, but he's putting together a good season. Played him in the Cub game a couple nights ago, and it's a pretty good game, 14-10, back and forth. And putting together a good season, has a good record, and I'm also digging his highlight videos. So, again, I thank him because it cuts down on some of the work that I have to do, and especially with him putting these clips together like this, he just highlights the whole game for me. It's pretty awesome. You can see there Nevada's running game gets going. He runs up the middle, and they pick up a 35-7 win against UNLV and out of conference play. But I believe it's a rival game. Well, I would think it would be since it's both in state, and you can see they're rushing the ball 263 and 4 touchdowns. Pretty solid effort there. And then this of AJ Blue as they beat Georgia Tech and my buddy IROC 28-14. Miami 23-10 over Western Kentucky as Dealers starting to get the mojo going. South Carolina conference win against Vandy 28-3, balanced attack. And then taking a look at week 5 in general, we can see games that were not in that. Baylor 20-13 over LSU. Florida State 35-14 over Clemson. So Florida State, rough start against Pitt to start the season, but has ran the table since. So Plasma has got things back in order in Seminole land. What else do we have? Idaho 27-24 over Florida International. TCU 2013 over Mississippi State. Mizzou beats Oklahoma. Troy over Middle Tennessee State. Oregon's loss to Arizona. The shocker, Trendon calling him out on that. We're going to scroll back up here and go back down because there's a few that I think that I missed. So I don't know if any of you guys have noticed by now, but usually I'm putting in the ones that have stats for both. So I know some of you guys have had highlight videos. Actually, when I did this the first time, I had it, but I redid it because more games got played and I missed out on some of them, so I apologize. What do we miss? Cincinnati over Maryland. And it was 24-17. Mizzou over Oklahoma, so Mizzou stays undefeated. Quietly putting together a good season in the Big 12 as Crows. Mississippi State 32-0 over Ball State. I don't think I missed too much. And yeah, East Carolina 34-0 over UAB. I'm sure I'll get back to that Oregon game later on in the show. Let's see. UCLA 27-7. I don't think I had that in there. Georgia 34-20 over Feisty. What else? USC 48-27. And Utah State 2013 over Wyoming and the Great Utes. I forget what they are. I'm still bitter about them almost beating me in my dynasty the first season of the game. So you can see there, I think that's 16 games left that need to be played for week 5. Not bad. So jumping into week 6, Eastern Michigan 34-31 over Akron. South Carolina, another dogfight game with Auburn. Auburn seems to be in a lot of close games. They can't hold on. Cincinnati 42-10 over Miami of Ohio. Duke, which was a big game in his eyes, looking forward to playing Shell, but doesn't, but still picks up the win. Georgia Tech with a conference win over NC State and Homie. Boise, convincing win over former WAC member. Well, I have that backwards, but Boise used to play in the WAC, so they pick up the win. Hawaii picks up a win against CSU. Kent State beats Ohio. Interesting, so I think that's the team that Nick had last season, or at least I know he had. Well, I think Jason's had him last season, but he had him before. And that game that just passed, and Maryland beating Ball State. Oregon bouncing back by beating Feisty 37-22. Balanced attack was a big help from Michael James. Oregon State beats Arizona State in the Pac-12 battle. Kind of odd seeing a field goal as a highlight, but that will be the game winner as Wisconsin remains undefeated, beating Nebraska 2017. The Nittany Lions pick up a win, 42-28. Syracuse mounts a rally, but not early enough as they fall to Buffalo. This was pretty awesome, an extra point block. I've never seen anything blocked on NCAA before, and I was really just saying, I'm calling BS on everyone saying block field goals and extra points. So very cool to see that actually does happen, as Nevada is able to overcome that and wins 30-17 over Southern Methodist. VVV continues to remain undefeated as he knocks off Iowa State in conference play. TCU picks up a win against SDSU at home. And here's a nice scamper down the sidelines. I didn't look at the recap too much to see the context of that. That's a really nasty interception. My roommate was kind of looking, not understanding how a defender could make that play, and he doesn't really know a whole lot about football, American football, so it's kind of hard to explain how that's possible. So it was just an odd play to see. But Nidler picks up the win 35-7 against Kansas. UCLA, another team that's quietly remains undefeated, putting together a good season, knocks off Stanford. Very tough game, I'm sure. And then we have this here. I believe that's AJ Blue up the middle. A score for UNC as they win in a rout against FIU 38-7. Another pick here by Coach Ice, BYU, as they have a dogfight but pick up the win 14-10 over Utah State and the Aggies. South Florida, Tulane struggling out of conference again, 31-0, but I'm sure they'll be fine once conference play starts. Washington 24-17 over Utah. And my favorite team to dislike but like at the same time, Colorado. So highlights against Washington State. You can see the TD pass and Mr. Stewart up the middle. I'm assuming he stayed healthy this game as he had quite the game there. You can see one. That would be two. Also up the middle. And I believe, I can't remember if it was 3 or 4, but I know he had a cut back here. Yep, that one there. Nice running. And Stewart is gone again. Sure, Washington State fans are depressed. You can see there are 3 touchdowns, 200 yards. Colorado picks up the win. And looking at other games, what is missed here? USC beating Arizona 20-10, so Rain back on track. Virginia Tech beating Clemson 21-0. I think the other 3 are on there. I believe those are on there. I don't know if I have the Vanderbilt, Memphis. I may have skipped it over talking. Michigan, conference win and rival win for the Jug against Minnesota 31-28. And Pitt, another win for them, 21-7 over Rutgers, a conference win. Going down further, Troy 30-8 against ULL. Toledo 24-7 over Temple. Kentucky 27-10 over LSU. As AJ seems to have hit a midseason struggle, slump, whatever you want to call it. Western Michigan or Western Kentucky. Man. I already forgot the score. I'm thrown off here. And then other games here that'll be interesting. Navy and Air Force, total opposites, pass against the run. Then you've got Florida and Bama. That should be a big game for SEC guys to keep an eye on. Same with Georgia and Mississippi State. I see down there, even though I wasn't supposed to be focusing on that. Ohio State and Michigan State. What else jumps out? I don't know what's going on with Black Rain, but if he's around, he can play. Florida State and Texas A&M should be good.